I'd like to talk about shareholding agreements or the lack of them and tell a little story. Some years ago, I met a family business in the northwest of England, in the Liverpool area, in fact. The family, in fact, comprised three brothers. They'd all worked together in the automotive industry and had identified a gap in the market, which they felt they had the skills to fill. To them, it was an opportunity to build a business for themselves, supplying a particular much needed component. They were all technically experienced, but had little, if any, management experience, although they knew the business they were in. They knew who the likely customers would be and had already made some inquiries that gave them sufficient confidence that this enterprise should work. So they met together in the pub one night, as you do, and with great excitement decided to embark upon this great adventure with visions of success and wealth in their minds. Being three brothers, it made sense to split the shareholding of the business three ways. They registered it accordingly at Companies House. Why wouldn't they? There was no need for any legal agreement. They were brothers after all. They knew each other very, very well, trusted each other. The business kicked off and was a success. 20 years passed and the world changed. The automotive sector was struggling. Nevertheless, the company was holding up, but they were all 20 years older, and now seemed a good time to sell. There was some interest in buying the business with a very attractive financial offer when they approached me. But there was a problem. The eldest brother had disappeared. He'd left his wife and gone off to Thailand to find himself. And nobody had any idea exactly where he was. Probably painting pictures on a beach somewhere. He had deserted both family and friends. He did not exist. Except he did exist as a 33% shareholder of a business that was on the brink of being sold. The buyers wanted control, and they could not get that, whilst a significant shareholder could not be found. The alternative was to put the company into liquidation, which as directors they could do unless there was an objection by the majority of shareholders, in which case they would get nothing for the business as it would be bought out of liquidation. They decided to keep on trading and did not retire, much to the chagrin of their respective families. I've seen many other cases, where shares get diluted through the family and through more than one generation. It all seems very nice and equitable at the time, but then we find we have given away a significant proportion of voting shares, and the future can be dependent upon old Aunt May, who inherited shares from her deceased husband and who has no interest in the business whatsoever, having retired to a bungalow at the seaside with a share certificate resting innocuously at the bottom of a bedroom cabinet drawer, unseen and forgotten. Of course, when the business is handed down through generations, shares can become diluted as they are distributed by parents to children, and this can become a real problem when issues arise in the company requiring shareholder agreement, and can potentially lead to a loss of control on the part of the shareholders, who are executive directors in the business. Some family business owners will reduce the risk of this by putting shares into trusts or by limiting the distribution of shares through a shareholders agreement. Accordingly, when allocating shares within the family or with friends, priority should always be given to those working in the business. However, if one sibling is working in the business and in receipt of some equity, you may find that the others expect to be treated in a compatible fashion, despite having no involvement in the business at all and no influence over its future and success. I've seen situations where a family member working in the business was given a significant shareholding. The other sibling was not involved in the business at all, but nevertheless was very, very bitter that they did not receive any shares. So it is important that if you're setting up a business or you're in a business that's already trading and you do not have a shareholders agreement, that you ought to compile that, because you never know what is round the corner. Thank you for listening and watching. Speak again soon. And please subscribe to see more of my exciting videos. Thank you. Bye.